White wolf, black wolf, good wolf, bad wolf. You've heard the saying. Everybody's got either one, and the more you feed, that's the one that'll live. And this is often the basis for many motivational speeches and wisdom from people trying to help others get through life. The problem is that it's absolutely false. And it actually does more harm than good. Here's why. The entire realm of good versus evil is the problem. In the Bible, there's an interesting story at the very beginning, and I would bet that this story is echoed in other cultures or faiths somewhere. Or at least in those cultures, in some form, some faiths. That the knowledge of good and evil itself is the actual problem. Here's how I know. And a lot of people know, not just me. Because there are people in life who have tried really, really, really hard to feed the good wolf, right? And those people have often been the ones who've crashed the hardest. You know, the goody-goody two-shoes people, the people who think they're better than everybody else, the people who really are. Nobody's better than anybody else. The people who really, really, really try hard to be good and do what's right and toe the line. Boom. Walk the straight line, right? Walk the narrow path, right? The problem is, I'm diverging. Those people often crash hard because good is the other side of bad. They're two sides of one coin. They are inseparable. You cannot simply focus on good to get away from the bad because they are forever joined at the hip, right? Yin and yang, right? Dualism, the whole thing that pervades so many cultures and philosophies, right? And that itself is the problem. Yeah, I know I mentioned a Bible story, so I don't know if this particular Bible story is literal or figurative, but it really doesn't matter because the Bible story itself teaches us a wonderful lesson. It teaches us that the knowledge of good and evil is a deadly poison. Right? That's why all these people who have tried so hard to be good so often crash. That's why. Because as they're going away from the bad like this, they're going good, 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 good. The bad, they don't know that the two are actually inseparable. Oh, Jesse, that's silly. God is completely good. Actually, God lives in an entirely different realm from the knowledge of good and evil. He's completely aware of it, and he has dealt with humanity as a result, but his original design for humanity was not the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, Jesse, fine. Well, where else could they live? They could live in a realm called life, which is where they lived prior to partaking of the knowledge of good and evil, right? In the story. Let's say it's a metaphorical story, right? The people were living, wherever those first people were, in pure life. a loving relationship with their Creator, right? That's what pure life is, and that's where pure life comes from. And they had no knowledge of good and evil. So that is the goal. That is the answer to life. That is the greatest motivational thing that you can tell people and give people. Right there. Is to leave the knowledge of good and evil, completely leave it, and go to a completely different realm. Right? You say, oh, Jesse, that's not biblical. Well, it's the first story in there. Right? You say, well, how do we get there, Jesse? Well, it starts with love. Returning to a relationship with our Creator. That's how the first people were living before they partook of the deadly poison, shall we say. Right? That relationship with Jesus, that relationship with our Creator, that's how you leave the realm of the deadly poison and you go to that realm of pure life that so many intuitively know is where we belong, right? Especially those who have tried really, 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 really hard to be so good and have had it backfire on them. It's not a joke, and I know. This is a new concept to a lot of people, but it's kind of like the Matrix, right? Once you realize that the reality that you've been living in is poisoned in some way, and you didn't know it, and you thought it was just normal. The knowledge of good and evil, right? Like, that's normal, like, everybody has to live in that and deal with it. Well, I got news for you. It's not normal. And we don't have to live in it and deal with it. When you return to love with your Creator, love with Jesus, out you go. Back to the realm of pure life. That's pure motivation. And the inspiration and the life-changing advice that people really, truly, honestly need to hear, and that will really, honestly, truly fucking help people.